Welcome, welcome, welcome back, everyone, to Life Uncensored, Navigating Adulthood, one episode at a time. I'm your girl, Amanda Lockhart Davis, host of Life Uncensored, and we've got a show for you today. I'm so glad to have you here. Make sure you grab your tea, your coffee, your wine, your hot chocolate, whatever it is. Sit back, relax, and listen to this great conversation that we're going to have with Miss Courtney Ramsey today. She is riding shotgun with us here at Life Uncensored Navigating Adulthood, one episode at a time. Courtney Ramsey is the founder and lead photographer of Courtney Ramsey and Co. Based in Washington, D.C., Courtney is a dedicated portrait photographer specializing in capturing the strength, beauty, and confidence of women. And that is so fitting for this being Women's History Month. Passionate about helping women feel truly seen, she believes in the power of photography to showcase them in their best light, whether in print, displayed on the walls of their homes, or preserved in timeless albums. At Courtney Ramsey and Co., she offers a luxurious, stress-free experience, ensuring every woman feels celebrated in every season of life. So welcome everyone, Miss Courtney Ramsey.
Hi, Amanda. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me on.
Hi, hi. I'm so glad to have you here. I'm so excited about this conversation. Those pictures are beautiful. Audience, as you saw, I showcased just a small snippet of her quite rich portfolio of photography of women in all walks of life. And Courtney, I'm telling you, chef's kiss.
Thank
Chef's
you.
kiss.
Thank you.
So listen, let's just get right into this conversation because I've got questions, girlfriend. I've got
Mhm.
questions. First things first, and I think this would be, pretty typical question or a question that you probably answer a lot, which is what inspired you to get into photography and then use it as a medium of storytelling, uh, particularly amplifying women's voices.
So I think that my story is probably similar to a lot of photographers in that I always had a camera. My dad gave me a camera for my sixth grade graduation, I believe. It was an Olympus 35 millimeter. I still have it.
Wow.
And I mean, I've always been taking pictures, in high school, the games, the cheerleading competitions, homecoming week, pep squad, you know, cheerleading camp. I always had the camera. I just really always enjoyed it. And in those days, it was taking the roll of film to Rite Aid or CVS or Rite Aid
Yes.
uh, or Ritz camera and
Uh-huh.
waiting, for a week to
Mhm,
get back the prints.
mhm.
Um, so I've
Or
done that.
longer.
Or like when the panoramic.
Yes.
so so it's just I've just always enjoyed taking pictures. And when you're younger you don't really understand, but I just really enjoyed telling the story and
Mhm.
just you know having beautiful pictures or good pictures or fun pictures of my friends. And I just look back on those even now and I still love those pictures, and I can look at a picture from sixth grade and tell you exactly what was going on at that moment. you know
That's the best. Well, that's what memories are made of, right?
Mhm.
That's part of it. That's
Mhm.
that's very much a part of it. So, did you go into the corporate world first, or did you literally jump out of school into photography?
I went from college. I went to Morgan State up in Baltimore, and I went from college right into working as a federal contractor.
Mm.
And so I've been doing that for 20 plus years. I'm in IT or tech now, as everyone calls it. But my love for photography has pretty much been consistent throughout all of those years without me really recognizing that it was. Um, we were never really able to bring my camera to work, but so instead of that, it was taking my camera like on vacation, to
Yeah.
family events, making my family take pictures and All of that. Even, like just growing up in a household full of pictures, recognizing and just loving to see pictures of my family and of my family's friends and all of that. So, yeah, but no, I went straight from college into the 9 to 5, and I started with photography professionally. I started with events and headshots. I have another brand, Clicks by Courtney, and I started that about maybe 8 or 9 years ago.
Wow.
And
Wow.
then within the last 3 years, I created Courtney Ramsey and Company, which is for women's portraits.
That is amazing. That's amazing. And listen, same. I grew up with albums upon albums and pictures upon pictures, and um, I I still remember in the house I grew up in, my parents had I'm dating myself, the rectangular,
Oh yeah.
the long rectangular boxes that
Oh,
had you pull the pictures out of. Yeah, not just the regular books, but
mhm.
yeah. And even now, if you come in my home, you'll see on my wall in my family room, it's the family wall, and it's pictures of all of
Yeah.
us, the whole family. And I've got albums still, and even though we're in a digital age, I still like the prints.
You know,
So
it's just something to it. It's like I mean, going back to having the albums in the home, it's like you just kind of it helps you know who you are. It helps you also realize subconsciously that your parents, your aunts, your uncles, they had a life before you.
yes,
They're actual people. Like they partied, they danced, they laughed. Life did not begin at your birth.
yes,
Which is a lot of times what we think.
yes, yes,
And with honestly, without pictures, it's very hard,
yeah,
unless you have someone who has documented everything through storytelling. You know,
right.
pictures is really kind of like the next best thing to
No, you're right.
realizing, recognizing that people had a life and that they are people before they are whatever that title is.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. Me and my cousin Catherine, shout out to Catherine in Cleveland.
Hey, Catherine.
Um, we joke all the time. There was a very specific picture um, of our parents,
Uh-huh.
all of their spouses, all the aunts and uncles, and my grandparents in their basement, full bar,
Mm-hmm.
wall to wall mirror.
Basement party.
Yes, and grandma
Yes.
had on these white go-go boots and she was posing, honey. I mean, like, and that's like one of those memories that we have. And we remember small snippets of being small, of them having little, smaller versions of those kind of parties
Mm-hmm.
when we were younger.
Mm-hmm.
But to your point, what they were doing before us, yo,
Mm-hmm.
they was wild.
They were having a life. And with you saying that, I feel like every bar in those days had to have a full mirror, had to have a
Yeah.
mirror
Yes, yes. Wall to wall, baby.
wall. And to that, I remember like talking to my aunt Shirley because she has tons of pictures, and we were just going through them, and I was like, Aunt Shirley, like where is this? Because it was like young black women, men, all races in the basement. They got the cigarettes because it's like probably the 60s or 70s.
Hmm.
The hairstyles, the extra heavy eyeshadow and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, Aunt Shirley, where is this? And she's like, oh, it was in my basement. We used to have parties in the basement. And I was like, first of all, wow, how come we don't do that? And second of all, like pictures also provoke questions.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
what happened during this time, or oh, I like your outfit, like what was the style like back then, or who was
Mm-hmm.
that person? Oh wow, like you mean you had a boyfriend before you met daddy? Like
Yeah, yeah.
it's there's
It
all.
does.
Yeah,
It provokes the questions about your history and
absolutely,
their legacy. Absolutely does. That's
absolutely.
such a great point and such a great way to put that.
Mhm.
Um, let's talk a little bit about your projects.
Okay.
Do you have like a specific project
Mhm.
where your photography played like a transformative role in not only you as the photographer, but the subject's life?
Mhm. So last summer, I had a booth at Ubiquitous Women's Expo.
Mm-hmm.
It's an annual expo. I highly recommend that if you're in the D, like if you're in the DMV area, that you should attend. I think it happens the weekend before or after Labor Day, and they recently moved it up to the casino in Maryland, the one in Hanover.
Oh yeah.
Have you done that one?
Live. Hmm.
Live.
Hmm.
Yes, it's a fantastic time. So I went there, to show, that a woman photographer can take beautiful pictures of, of women, and for us, by us, to kind of get my name out there and all that stuff. And the experience that I had was empowering in so many ways that I didn't even think
Mm.
could happen. So, for one, I had over 150 women come through my booth over the course of 2.5 days.
Wow.
Everyone received a complimentary portrait.
Hmm.
So that means that I got to speak with over 150 women
Yeah.
face to face,
Wow.
holding hands, touching them. I gave everyone, my undivided attention. When they came in and sat down, we had, like, a conversation, or, just something. And I felt so enlightened and empowered
Mm.
from interacting with all of them, that just the energy and the love that I received.
Mm.
And I feel like they felt it as well from
That's
me.
amazing.
It was a time for me to tell these women, you are loved, you are worthy, I see you. You know, what are you comfortable with? Is there anything that you're perhaps uncomfortable with in terms of in front of the camera? Let me show you how you can become comfortable with that, or let me show you how you can, and you know, uh, enhance something else, or show something else if you're not comfortable with it.
Mm.
It was just a very, very good time. And it just, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to explain it. It was just like, it was very empowering and uplifting for me, as well as for the women that came through.
Would you say that the feeling was sort of euphoric in nature?
Yes, because I was floating. When I tell you, I was floating on cloud nine for I don't know how long. And I would watch the women as they, like I would, they come in, I talk to them, I'd get their picture. And I would just, they would go from being, nervous, kind of like slightly shrunken, for the most part, coming up and getting in front of the camera, to once, those 2 or 3 minutes were over, they're standing up, chest out, smiles, excited for their picture. Because
Yeah.
I think a lot of, well, not I think, I know that very often, especially uh, outside of your 20s, or if you're of, I'd say, Gen X or above, you really aren't taking pictures that often. And there
Mm.
really is no one telling you, hey, let's take a picture together, a professional picture, a nice picture.
Hmm.
And so they had that opportunity.
Well, don't get me in your studio. You're gonna be like, girl, if you don't leave already, it's been 12 hours. Cause
Listen,
I listen.
but we were both in there, because I've had sessions. Well, first of all, this is like a running joke, and I'm just gonna throw this out there. If a photographer tells you one more time, one more pose, one more outfit, it's not gonna be that. It's gonna be much more. And and I'm that one.
And I'm the subject who's here for it. Okay, like
Who
I
wouldn't
you
have to
know
pack a
what?
sleeping bag?
Yes, I listen. I joke, and like, I know I'm a picture ham, and I'm okay with it. Like, I just, because,
It's
and I
fun.
think it's because, like what we were saying earlier,
Mhm,
growing up and seeing all those pictures. And um
mhm.
I have a cousin who's, my mom's youngest sister. She passed away when my cousin was only 3.
Oh, wow.
um and so she doesn't have any pictures of her, only a couple. And even in some of the pictures that she is in, she's like, "Oh no," or doesn't, no, don't show my smile, or
Mhm.
that sort of thing. So I think that, in a way, has kind of made me be like, "See me, love me." Here I am,
It had an impact on you.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So because I
absolutely.
want that, I want my kids to have that too. Both of
Mhm,
my parents are gone, right?
mhm. Mhm.
sharing pictures with my boys of my parents is important to me, you know, and telling them a story. Yeah, this is when we went to such and such, or when they took me to such and such. You know, that's important to me. So I want my kids to have that for my grandchildren and great grandchildren and so on. So, I, yeah, I'm that person. You don't want me in your studio, girlfriend. I don't.
Well, to what you're saying, that's legacy, and I think oftentimes we think of legacy as something that is incredibly formal or rigid, or something that has to, essentially, damn near kill you to pass on to the next.
Yeah.
And that's not what legacy means, and that's
Mm-mm.
not what it is in terms of taking portraits of of yourself and of your family to pass down. You're sharing this with your boys. That's conversation. They're learning about where they're from. They're seeing you as a woman, and seeing your parents as grandparents, and as and actual people who had lives,
Right.
and
Right.
all that's important, so
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So talk about a little bit about some of the challenges though that women are facing as it pertains to having their stories told on a very authentic level. And how do you feel like the photography kind of helps that?
I think it's I think it's twofold. I think, well, it's not. It's several folds. So one is, I've noticed that, again, like, women just tend to prioritize everyone and everything but them,
Mm.
and so a lot of times women are moms, sisters, aunts, women. I'm just going to say that in general, are the ones taking the pictures,
Mm-hmm.
or they're the ones who are, at the Easter sessions or the family sessions behind the camera, telling the kids, look this way, or or their cell phone pics where the baby is tight, the kids look wonderful, and the mom looks like the mom who put all her effort into having the kids, cared for and supported, and no, the mom doesn't want to show that picture, or wants to crop herself out,
Mm-hmm.
so now she's not part of the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is probably one of the biggest challenges that I see that a lot of women face. Um, they are just not, they're just literally not in front of the camera. They're not in the pictures. I think the other thing, one of the challenges, is that when you're not taking pictures, when you're not including yourself for whatever reason, because sometimes it could be, that's a whole nother conversation. It's oh, my hair doesn't look right. Oh, I've gained weight. Oh, my skin's breaking out. All of those reasons,
All the stuff.
stuff, right? All the stuff that we tell ourselves makes us, that we tell ourselves is why we're not good enough to be in front of the camera, which is just not realistically true. But what that does is it
Mm-hmm.
prevents you from creating your own narrative, right? So when you're in your pictures, when you're taking your pictures, when you're, having your maternity sessions, when you're the lead star, because, by the
Mm-hmm.
way, all the women are lead stars in my sessions. Like, your
Mm-hmm.
family are the co-stars. You are the star, right? Um, you are creating your own narrative. So life doesn't just happen when the baby comes out
Mm-hmm.
pregnant. You are pregnant, you're beautiful pregnant. That's part of your story.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's kind of the challenge that I see most: women not prioritizing themselves, and because of that, they really aren't able to create their own narrative. It's
Yeah.
somewhat created for them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it kind of, when you say it like that, it kind of puts you in the mindset of, back to your original point.
Hmm.
Oh, I'm back burner. Everybody else is prioritized.
Hmm.
I'll get to me later. And then later
Yep.
doesn't come.
Yep. Or, oh, I got this, oh, I got a raise, or, I got this fly new haircut, or I got this cute outfit, or whatever. But, oh, dang, my friend's birthday party is next week. So I'm not going to worry about me. I'm going to focus on getting their stuff together. Or, oh, my son's book report is due. So, I don't need to worry about scheduling anything with a photographer to have some pictures taken because this book report is the most important thing. They're reminded they're gonna have 50,000 book reports over the life of their education. So yeah,
Right,
really
right.
yeah.
So
And
do
I'm
you think, or would you not prioritize, would you categorize,
hmm
especially what you do, your purpose for your photography,
hmm
as another item on the self-care list?
it's self-care, absolutely. It's self-care in a way that lasts forever. And it's
Mm.
self-care in a way that you're also having a good time. So it's not a chore in terms of like, sometimes we look at self-care as a chore. Like I gotta get my nails done, gotta get my hair done, gotta get my annual breast exam, gotta, whatever, all of those things that could be categorized as self-care. Got to get caught up on Netflix. Sometimes that feels like a chore, even though that kind of falls under self care, right? Because you're still scheduling it, and got to make sure you get that done so you can have the conversation with girlfriends about it. So it becomes a chore. But beautiful imagery of you lasts forever. It's a fun time. It's a time that lasts. It's a time in a memory that lasts a lot longer than some new nails or getting your hair done. Which nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, yeah,
Sometimes that can feel like a chore, and it's
right.
you know
Or shoot, going back at that picture and going, man, I like that hairstyle. I'm gonna get that
yeah.
again. Like,
Let me tell you, I had some boudoir pictures done of myself probably about 5 years ago, and I look at them all the time because
yeah.
I'm like, oh, I was cute. Like, this is pre-COVID, pre all the extra chubbiness, pre us being locked. Like, oh, I was like, it's this, it's seeing yourself in a, as you were then,
Yeah,
in
yeah.
a beautiful state. And so, yeah. Mhm.
No, same, same. I love looking at older pictures. Be like, dang, I was skinny. Oh, I was fly. Mm,
You ever look at pictures and be like, why was I so hard on myself? I was fine. I was
mhm,
beautiful.
mhm.
Like, you know.
Yes, absolutely,
Mhm.
absolutely. Yeah. Listen, I can do that about a picture I took last week. Be like, I looked fine that day. Matter of fact, I look good that day. Let me put this on Facebook. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I
Yeah.
have. I have.
Mhm.
So, talk to me about your approach. How do you capture
Mhm.
the essence of a woman's story? Because I would venture to say, and you may disagree because you do this full time, but
Mhm.
I would venture to guess that people think, oh, you can't really capture the essence. That's a click, that's a picture.
Mhm.
Behind the screen is not the same.
Mhm.
But how do you go about doing that? That you're capturing the feelings, the thoughts, even the triumphs, the struggles. Like, how are you capturing all of that? What is your approach?
So I think that comes into play. There's several ways to do it. I think a lot of times, or for me, for the most part, it's taking time to interact with my client,
Okay,
um,
get to know them a little bit.
get to know them a little bit, kind of watch their mannerisms, watch them in between um, outfit changes and in between setups.
Mm-hmm.
That's sometimes when they're most relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
When they have a partner or a spouse with them, seeing how they light up when the person walks by or makes them laugh or things like that. So it's just kind of observing,
Okay.
and of course talking to them. But sometimes we as women get in our heads, and so it becomes
Who? Us?
yeah, yeah. So I just kind of like to just kind of let them be themselves.
Okay.
And I tell them I'm not here to make you someone that you're not. I'm just here to bring out the best in you.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mm-hmm. And do you normally get like I guess my question is,
Mhm.
for someone who's a little extra insecure or shy or whatever the thing is,
Mhm.
How much time do you spend with them to get them to a more relaxed, comfortable state? Do you like be like, listen, girl, we got girl, your session only an hour and 15 minutes? Or like, what do you do? Like, how do you work through that?
I'll give you an example. This is two things. One, I offer what I've learned is that when I first speak with a potential client, I have my discovery call. They they think that like everyone sees all of my pictures.
Oh, okay.
And so once I explain to them, oftentimes once I explain that I do have private sessions,
Mm-hmm.
the images are only for you. I'm not, of course, I want for people to see the pictures, but I'm really here for you. Like, my
Yeah.
passion is to create these images to pass on.
Right.
So I have more clients than not who are private clients,
Okay.
meaning only they have the images. No one will see them. I don't use them for marketing, branding,
Mm-hmm.
public. They're not print. I don't print them for advertising, none of that. So oftentimes, once I say that and let them know that that is an option, they become more comfortable with me and they recognize that I'm not just here to uh, throw them on Instagram.
Got you.
You know,
Got you.
but like so that's usually like the first
Okay.
barrier. And
Okay.
then, I have the discovery call. We have a styling consult. When they arrive, we talk. I have a fantastic makeup artist. Her name is Dana. She is Everyone loves
Shout
her.
out to Dana.
Shout out to Dana. She is actually my and co and company. That's
Yes.
Dana. Yes, Dana is and company,
Yes.
whether she wants to be or not. Um, so yeah, so like just us, being relaxed, chit chatting. Sometimes clients come in here and they don't want to talk. They don't want to.
Mm.
They don't want to think about the kids, the husband, the wife, none of that stuff. They just
Mm.
want to relax and have it be about them, and that's what I
Mm.
tell them and I let them know that. Um, Also, I've had clients where like we've done deep breathing exercises.
Okay.
I will leave the studio. I'll put them in their gown and their attire. I'll leave the studio and just let them look in the mirror at themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Because especially for my maternity sessions, body's changing, not always comfortable with the changes, and they just need a minute.
Mm.
Take that minute. It's fine.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I mean, it doesn't do anybody any good to have pictures with you looking like, you
Why am
know,
I here?
yeah, why am I here? And I'm scared. Nobody that don't help nobody. So yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, I
I
love that.
mean,
I think that's so cool. I
and
love that.
there's times that I've had to be like, okay, let's, you know, we're gonna have to get through this.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be okay. And
Yeah.
for those clients where it's just they absolutely are just extremely nervous and it's there's so much in their head, it's got nothing to do with anything you're doing.
Yeah.
Then we just change the type of photography that we do. We do silhouettes. We do backlit. We do rim lighting. We do other things to relax them so that they're not,
Okay.
dead on.
Yeah, they don't feel so upfront about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the camera can be a kind of awkward thing to stare at. It's this
Yeah.
inanimate object with this person behind you, and these lights in your face. So it can be a little jarring if we're not, prepared
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like that. And I think that understand. I like what you said, that you try to get to know them a little bit,
Mhm,
um, uh, paying attention to their cues and
mhm,
meeting them where they are. And I think that's
mhm.
another part of, and I'm going to call it out, and you tell me to shut the heck up if I'm off the mark here. But I feel like that's part of the the root of what you're doing, right?
Mhm,
You are meeting women where they are.
mhm, mhm.
Whereas the rest of life is not doing that for us. The rest of life is you got to get on board where we at, what
Yeah.
this thing is at, what this thing is doing right here and right now. It's not, we're not being catered to in that way.
Mhm.
Things got to move, things got to get done. Oh, I had such a horrible day. I have a migraine. That's cute. Little Johnny got a swim lesson tonight.
Yeah.
Mama needs some grocery shopping done.
Mhm. Yep.
whatever the thing is. So I
Yep.
think that's kind of the root. You
Yeah.
meeting them where they are. I
Absolutely.
think it's kind of the root of what you're doing and why you're doing
Mhm.
it.
Yeah. You've said that way better than I ever could have. Yes. Thank you.
You can use it. You can use it. It's
Thank you.
not copywritten.
We write that down. Yes.
So you mentioned Instagram a minute ago. So
Mhm.
in this day and age where social media, digital storytelling, all those things,
Mhm.
how has photography evolved in your opinion?
Mhm.
Because like you said, you remember those rectangular albums, right? So how has
Mhm.
photography evolved as a
Mhm.
tool for empowerment now, with from what it was then to what it is now, knowing that we're in a digital age basically?
I think it allows women and people in general to be more empowered. Um, because the tool is more, which the camera is more accessible. So
Mm.
you know, everyone from a very very young child is, if they can figure out how to find the camera icon and push the button, you're getting their perspective. You know,
Right.
on up to, you know, until you die, really.
Yeah.
So I think it just allows for you to get a more diverse perspective, which is actually empowering in itself.
Mm.
Um, do I wish that there was that, we would kind of come off of only having images in our cell phone? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that the art of prints and albums and what else? It was prints, albums. I can't remember the other thing, and just wall art.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that that kind of is a lost art. Um, and I wish that more people put their time and energy into getting those pictures from their cell phone, or even when you are having professional pictures taken, getting that out of the camera or out of your computer screen or the digital world onto the wall and into an album. I wish that people would do that more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and you make good sense there because like I love to do a good scrapbook,
Hmm. Hmm.
but how often do you hear about that nowadays?
Yeah.
You don't, yeah, I mean, you hear about it here and there, but
Mhm. There's like
like my
community
kids,
that
they're
get
like, scrapbook, what's
everywhere.
that?
Yeah. Yeah. It's and because everything is so niched and everything has a community, a tight community. Like for your scrapbooking, you're interacting with your community,
Hmm.
your scrapbooking friends, as opposed to possibly like when your friends come over and they see your scrapbook and they're going through it.
Right,
It's
right.
different.
It is very different. It's very different. I want to continue this conversation. We're going to have a quick commercial break.
Okay.
I want to shout out a couple of people who jumped on Instagram. I see you out there. I see Nisha. I see uh, Air Force One's girl. Songs of C2 jumped on and joined us. So shout out to them. And listen, I saw in that slideshow I did at the beginning, I saw some familiar faces. I saw one and a half familiar faces. I
Oh yeah,
recognized.
tell me who.
I saw April Sampy. That's that's
Yes.
that's my
Yes.
girl.
Yes.
Go back to school. Middle school, high school. I saw April, and I could have swore I saw Siobhan, but I might be wrong. Maybe she just looked like Siobhan. But nonetheless, I need to get in the mix.
In the beach, in the pool.
Yes.
Mhm. I think so.
See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. Audience, stay tuned. We'll be back in 1 minute with Miss Courtney Ramsey talking about building a legacy through photography.
This is so much fun.
How are we doing today, guys? If you're new here, let me introduce you to the Tone Shift. Late last year, the Misfit presented us with 6 cool colorways of the DMV's finest full-zip suits. From the flames, to the bones, to the mask, and that's with see-through eyes included. You can't find this style of fashion anywhere else. There are many colors that range through gray, red, blue, pink, green, and purple. The sizes go from small up to double XL. So, if you or anyone you know has this sense of style, feel free to send a direct message to The Misfit on Instagram. Or shop at themisfitllc.net. Together, we can battle the cold weather while we pioneer the future of fashion. Life Uncensored, navigating adulthood one episode at a time. We're available on Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. You can also check us out on our website, life-uncensored.com. Come on over and see what you've been missing. We are back with Miss Courtney Ramsey. Courtney, thanks for staying on with us.
I'm here for as long as you'll have me.
We had Miss Nicole Garner, shout out to you. She said, "Hey ladies," watching from Facebook. Hey Nicole, hey girl. So listen, let's continue the conversation because I'm really enjoying myself, and I'm feeling like a little enlightened too. So let's keep talking. We've talked about what inspired you to get into this, why you're doing it, some of the things that you do to make women feel comfortable in front of the camera. So talk to me a little bit about some advice. Like, let's talk about what you would tell women who want to use photography, either as professionals or hobbyists, to document their own legacies.
Okay, this is probably going to sound silly, but
There's nothing silly on Life Uncensored.
Wipe off your lenses. Please wipe them off, because there's no point in taking pictures and they're blurry. They've got your makeup on it. They've got your hair product on it. It probably sounds trivial, but if you're going to take a picture, that's the first thing anyone needs to do. Wipe off your lens. And I'm only pointing to the cell phone because if we're talking hobbyist or professional, this is a very easy way to document yourself,
Right. Quick, fast, at your fingertips, that sort of thing.
Absolutely. Also, I would say, don't be afraid of the moments not being perfect. Every moment doesn't need to be a smiling moment. You don't need to smize through everything. You don't have to take a picture of your face, while you're documenting your journey. It can be your hands. It can be silhouetted. You can literally lay in bed. If you have some colored lights, the green or the blue, you can take pictures of your arms, your legs. That's still documenting your journey. That's still documenting you, and in a creative way. So I would just say, don't be afraid of trying different ways. It doesn't have to be quote unquote picture perfect. If you spend all that time waiting for the right moment, the right this, the right that, it's just going to pass you by.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I would also say this. If you have friends who are camera shy, who don't want to be in pictures, have a real conversation with them. And I say this because they're also part of your legacy. They're also part of your life. So when you go out and you're having a good time, or you're sitting on a couch for girls' night watching TV or whatever, and you want to take a picture with them and they don't, it's kind of changing the narrative of what you're, of that experience. So have a talk with them. Be like, look, I know you like taking pictures, but you've been my best friend for the last 20 years. I want you in these pictures with me. Go with the program, please, even for a little bit, because they are part of your narrative. That's a hobbyist or a professional. I would just say that because if you're documenting your legacy, your life, the moments that are special to you, you also want to include the people that are there for those times.
I appreciate you saying that out loud for the world to hear, because as I mentioned about my cousin losing her mother at a very young age, my sister is the same way that my aunt was. No, right?
And that
Um,
actually ruins the picture too.
it does.
Mhm.
No, it does. And now she'll comply begrudgingly, but she'll. But
Mhm.
one time when my cousin was down here visiting, and she saw her do that
Mhm.
in tears, she said to me, "Please tell her that I don't have any pictures of my mom.
Mhm.
Tell her to stop doing that."
Mhm.
So her kids and her grandkids have that. So my cousin has young children,
Mhm.
um, both under the age of 10. My kids don't know what their grandmother looks like,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know? So I share that story to those out there to kind of emphasize what you just said, Courtney.
Mhm.
Um, to those out there who are camera shy, people trigger, oh no, because I'm fat in the face. Oh, my teeth. You know, the teacher and my legacy and my story.
I
I'm
lost you a little bit.
in story, right? Can you hear me still?
You kind of you faded in and out.
Uh-oh. Can
There
you
you
hear
go.
me?
Yep, you're
Okay.
back. You're back.
But yes, like you're a part of my story and I want you in it. So I'm glad that you said that the way you said that.
Mhm.
That's pertinent,
Mhm.
for those people out there that are, they don't want to be in the pictures.
Yep.
Somebody loves you enough that they want you in their story. So
There
think of it
you
that
go.
way.
Absolutely. First of all, there you go again. But yes, absolutely. And that's it's true. Like I'm definitely here. Of course, to talk about empowering yourself and doing it. Because it's a part of your legacy. Um, but also, you know you're also doing this for those to see you as the person that you are. And if you are not in the pictures, if you are cowering or covering your face, or you look like you're being tortured, standing next to a family member who just loves you to pieces, you know
Right.
it's
Right.
it's not really truly who you are. It's
Right.
you know
Right. Because before the camera comes out, ball of sunshine, laughing, joking, smiles, and all that, camera comes out, like you said, you put it perfectly, but you look like you're being tortured next to the person who's like,
exactly. And I'm going to also put this out there. I've had a lot of my pictures end up as on the cover of the obituaries and in
Mm.
obituaries, because they're beautiful professional images
Mhm.
where the person is, or my client or family member. I've had a lot of family members,
Mhm.
pictures. They look nice, they're smiling, they're having a good time, and that's how they want to be remembered, of course.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know if or when we pass and someone has to go through your Facebook album or your phone, it's just not the same.
It's not at all.
And you
Not at
don't really
all.
want them going through your phone either, to be honest.
Well, that part.
Yeah.
But that's another conversation. That's another conversation.
Conversation. I'm gonna be back. We can have more conversations.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, looking ahead, what
Uh-huh.
impact do you want? Like, what legacy do you want to leave? What impact do you hope that your work is going to have on future generations and women storytellers?
So my first passion is touching the lives of the women who are in front of me.
Yeah.
So the women that are sitting in front of my lens, those are the women who I want to make sure that they have something for themselves first and for their legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Honestly, anything beyond that, I think would just be a gift. I just take it one person at a time.
Yeah, I like that. You are really wanting to give to others what you see in them.
There you go
From
again.
behind the lens, so to
Yes,
speak.
yes,
Yeah. No, I
yeah,
love that. I love that.
absolutely. Yeah.
So, and which is this goes right into my next question perfectly. You You just sound very passionate about what you're talking about, you know, what
Mhm.
you're doing, why you're doing it. What ignites you? What's the thing that
Mhm.
keeps you up at night? You can't wait to get to the next day's shoot or, you know, the next day's project.
I think like what I get super excited about is just knowing that like for one we're gonna have a good time with
Yeah.
with the camera. I do everything I do in this business, and for you entrepreneurs, you know that like 90% of what you do is administrative, it's financial, it's marketing, and that 10% is actually what you really want to do, which is, you know, getting to speak to someone on a podcast or pushing the button on the camera is what it is for me. You know, getting
Mhm.
someone in front of my lens. So, what was the question?
What ignites you for your engagements?
Oh yeah, so it's really just being able to. I get really excited about getting someone in front of my camera,
Yeah.
and also just um, as I've gotten older, you know, as I've gotten more seasoned, and
Mhm.
you know, and I've had more experience in life, my friends, and you know, more experience.
Nicole's laughing at you, by the way. She's like,
Oh.
my God.
Well, this is how our conversations usually are. We'll start talking and be like, well, "What were you saying? What?" Yeah. So for her, this is normal. Um,
I
um,
apologize for cutting you off.
it's okay. It's okay. Also, perimenopause, might I say. Forget everything. It's also just, you know, like you know, being an adult is challenging. Being
Yeah.
a woman is challenging, and I just really want for and just seeing how like we just really go through life not being celebrated, not being seen, not
Mm.
being acknowledged,
Mhm.
and it kind of annoys me. And so, not kind of, it does annoy me. And so, part of that passion is just wanting for women to know that you're worthy,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know.
And so
And
that's what gets you up and gets you pumped for the next
oh yeah, and it's funny because
project.
like I feel my heartbeat and I feel myself want to be like, you know, because I really get excited and passionate about it. And yeah, short of putting all that on a t-shirt, photography is a way that I can express that and share that.
I say you still get to put on a t-shirt.
It
Maybe
was,
maybe a hat t-shirt combo.
I feel like if I had to say all that, it'd be like the front of the t-shirt, the back, and the sleeves. It'd be just full of how I feel.
I love that. I just love that. So I want to talk a little bit. We're coming to the end of our show here. I want to talk a little bit, if you don't mind,
Mhm.
about your process. You mentioned a little bit about attire and
Mhm.
Miss Dana doing
Mhm.
your makeup. Can you
Mhm.
talk about that? Do the women come with what they want to wear? Do you have things for them to wear? What's the makeup process? Can you talk a
Mhm.
little bit about that whole, like, we're getting ready for Courtney to take my pictures, and what that entails?
Absolutely. So I really try to be, not try, I'm a stress free luxury women's portrait service, right? Photography service. So, what that entails is automated booking, automated scheduling,
Hmm.
automated payment so that you don't have to worry about that. We have styling, like we have a styling and a consultation call after the booking and prior to your session to talk about the details. How are you going to wear your hair? I talk about, you know, all the details, nails, makeup, like what kind of makeup look are you going for? Or I give them my recommendations. We talk about attire. I have a full full wardrobe because I do love to shop for some maternity clothes, oddly enough, but full maternity wardrobe of gowns, dresses, fabrics. So if you are, you know, looking to have your maternity session, you don't have to worry about wardrobe. I have you covered. Jewelry, hats, like everything you see is what I provide. You don't have to worry about it all. You just come in and you just and get your makeup done and just have a good time.
Yeah.
Um, if you are coming in for your women's portraits, what I've found, and I do have wardrobe for women's portraits, but of course you can't have every style and every size for everyone.
Sure.
But I do have a few staples, as well as jewelry and accessories. But oftentimes it's okay, what kind of look are you going for? What kind of style are you going for? Everyone gets a personalized mood board so that we are on the same page and I understand what you're going for or what we've discussed.
A mood board. I haven't heard that before.
Oh yeah, so it's like so for me, my mood boards consist of like maybe like the colors or the types of poses that we discussed, the
Okay.
wardrobe, the whole vibe in general.
Mm-hmm.
That, yeah, so that and I know, and that's one less thing for you to have to worry about.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
and then within 24 hours, you have your proofs, which are the images from the session.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, you can select your images. And then from there, I edit them and do all the fun stuff, all the magic, and then they're delivered.
Wow. Now, do you do prints or you just do delivery of the
Yes,
digital print?
all of my collections include some form of print, whether it's
Okay.
um, prints, wall art, or an album. And
Okay.
I've gone back, and as a business owner, I've gone back and forth many times about this. Like, oh, am I just pushing prints on them? And I'm like, yes, they're going to have some prints. You're going to have some prints when you walk up out of here. So,
Which
yes,
is the whole point, right?
yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, absolutely. And I've gotten great feedback from some of my clients who were like, oh, yeah, I never really thought about it, but I really appreciate it. I'm going to send it to my parents. I'm going to get it framed or,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. No, I
Mhm.
love that. That's amazing.
Yep.
So Courtney, talk to our audience about how they can stay in contact with you, how they can stay updated on any upcoming engagements. Are you going to be at any events anytime? Spring is breaking.
Mhm.
Tell our audience how they can see and hear from you.
Okay, so I would say the two easiest ways to keep in touch is through LinkedIn, CourtneyRamsey.co. So it's LinkedIn / CourtneyRamsey.co. Um, and the other way is through my website, Courtney Ramsey. Yeah, CourtneyRamsey.co. It's CourtneyRamsey.co.
Okay.
Once you go to my website, you will get a pop-up to sign up for my newsletter, which will give you access to all of my like to any specials or any events or the podcasts that I'm featured on, and we have conversations. Oh, that's so cool. That's gross. And we'll have conversation. Like we have conversations, and I address um, topics and things like that are of interest to women,
Okay.
and that also, of course, will lead to my blog.
Love it.
My website.
CourtneyRamsey.co. You
Yep.
guys heard it. Courtney, you have been amazing. I have one last question for you that I ask all of my guests at the end of our shows,
Uh-huh.
and that is to tell us what your greatest joy is, or you can tell us your favorite quote and why it's your favorite quote.
All right, let me tell you something. So first off, yes, 9 to 5 type A. I am ready with my favorite. Well, this is what keeps me going and has for 20 something years. You ready?
You are the best. Oh my God. Nicole, I blame you. Okay. So when I'm in her studio for 12 hours, Nicole Garner, okay, of Koldner Realty, I blame you.
All right. So this is what inspires me. It just never lets me down. It's by Marianne Williamson. And she wrote A Return to Love, which is a book. So our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be?
Mm,
You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our fear, our presence automatically liberates others.
Mm.
This
And
is
who
what
that
I
a quote by again? Say who this quote is from.
look. Marianne Williamson.
Marianne Williamson. That's amazing. I love that.
Thank you.
I love that. Listen, I'm gonna give you before I close out the show. I'm gonna give you a chance
Mm.
to because your friend Nicole over here is talking mad trash. Okay, she said this is her last thing that she said. I told you when I connected you two. She's your friend now too. Godspeed. I need help raising her.
Well, so seeing as how the reason why Nicole is so wonderful and like successful in life is because she's done everything that I told her to do.
Oh, say that. Say that right in the camera. You did. She did what now?
You are who you are because of me. And I know
And
she's over there rolling her eyes.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to say goodbye to Miss Courtney Ramsey. Courtney, I hope that you will come on the show again,
Oh, you know
and
it.
we will have more great conversation. I really appreciate and love what you are doing with your art because that's what it is. You are reminding women that it's okay to love themselves where they are and how they are, and I think that's amazing. It's like I said, especially that we are celebrating Women's History Month.
Mhm.
It was the perfect time to have you on the show. So thank you so very much. All
Thank you.
right.
I really appreciate you having me on here, and I look forward to the next 50,000 podcasts with you.
Yes. Speak that into existence.
Oh, yeah.
Courtney Ramsey, everyone. Courtney, will you please stay with me for just a few minutes while I close
Mhm.
out the show?
Okay. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Awesome. I told you all that you didn't want to miss this episode. Courtney is great, and you saw it for yourself. You saw how that smile of hers lit up the screen. She just loves what she does. She's passionate about it. Her website is scrolling across the screen. CourtneyRamsey.co. For those who are listening and not watching, it's CourtneyRamsey.co. CourtneyRamsey.co. Go check out her work and get in for a discovery session with her so you can get behind her camera. All right. Um, in the meantime, if you would like to be a guest on our show or you have a topic that you'd like to hear us discuss on the show, please, by all means, drop us a line, life-uncensored.com. That's our website. Scroll down towards the bottom and you'll see where you can do just that. That's life-uncensored.com. Also, if you have a service or product that you'd like to promote on our show, that you'd like advertised on our show, same thing life-uncensored.com. Drop us a note and we'll be happy to speak with you and get that rolling. All right. I want to thank all of our followers on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Spotify. You guys keep the show going and I appreciate that. A special shout out to all of our Facebook followers. We are well over 11,000 followers on Facebook right now. And I thank you and celebrate you all for that. All right. I'm going to close this show with my quote for today. And that quote is from Miss Maya Angelou. There is no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside of you. That was Miss Maya Angelou. All right, everyone. Have a great evening. Have a great week. Spring starts tomorrow. Woo woo! All right. Stay hydrated. Do something kind for someone. You never know. You might change the world. All right. Until we meet again, have a good day.